Doesn't have the Rancor. No, so just Thragtusk and Elvish Visionary, and then it looks like he's going with Stinger, Fling, Spider over Silklash Spider, but on the other side, what do we have?
Josh Choi is playing red-blue Delver. His Delver Fire, if you like, Bonfire of the Damned, Pillar of Flame as the red cards. And the rest you can expect, as you might guess, the typical Delver Shell. Obviously no Angel, but it does have Talrand, the Sky Summoner.
Yeah, the same deck we saw get slaughtered in that long, drawn-out chess match involving Jerry Thompson earlier.
Right, just last round.
Yeah.
Turn 1 Bird faces off against its classic enemy, Turn 1 Ponder.
Ponder find Gut Shot.
Will it find the Gut Shot? This is why Ponder is so good in this matchup. Where is the Gut Shot? Are you there? Or where is the Snapcaster Mage for the second Gut Shot? Oh, no Gut Shot.
So what do you think of Rug Pod instead of Nyapod like most people play?
Godetas Vidaguris was working on Rug Pod for a while, and he really liked it. And I know that he had passed it on to some other people from his former home in the Midwest, and they were really liking it too.
But that was before Restoration Angel, right?
But they were playing Angels. The Angels were being played at the time. Angel was in print. I just don't know if Angel was on his radar or not when he played it. Obviously, it's on people's radars now. I mean, your value, right, is you get blue for a clone chain, basically. Image is a real card that does scary things with all kinds of elements of your deck, so...
Pillar Flame, the Strangleroot Geist. Dan Jordan, well known for his love of rug decks.
This is true.
We were talking about earlier Dega and Grixis. Dan Jordan, definitely a Sita mage if ever there was one. Although I think most people these days would just call Sita rug. And
I was talking to someone
and a bug.
I was talking to someone from the lands of Seta, and they said, "Do not call me Seta, call me Sita." It's like, I'm Anna, so I don't know what any of you are talking about. You're Raka? Are you a Raka person if you had to choose a wedge?
If I gotta choose a wedge?
You don't get to choose a...
Nah, I'm probably the bug wedge.
Okay, so you're Anna. You're Anna.
Oh, no. I like blue-black decks that splash Pernicious Deed, too. Although I think I might actually just start playing Bug, or playing Anna in the new Standard. I want to try playing blue-black Control, splashing Thragtusk, and Crushing Binds.
We
that
see
seems hot.
Green Suns for Strangleroot Geist. Vapor Snag takes care of that little bit of business.
Temporarily, right?
Yes.
That's a very...
Hey, it's gone. I don't see it on the table.
Oh, it is a miracle bonfire
miracle.
that doesn't hit the Strangleroot Geist.
Two birds. Two birds. Josh with an island in hand, I think.
So now, Josh knew he had a bonfire coming from his ponder, right?
Yes.
So did he set it up and want to snag the Geist because he doesn't want to put the +1/+1 counter on it?
Maybe. In for 2. It's going to be another snag. And then a bird.
This is where we're due to see an image for the Strangleroot Geist.
Cavern. Naming something.
I'm guessing human.
And copies the Geist, as predicted.
God, Phantasmal Image copying Strangleroot Geist is such a big game. What's it going to be like when Image rotates out?
Sad. Wizard is apparently the Cavern's name.
Oh, because Talrand is a Merfolk wizard. Of course.
Snapcaster, a human wizard.
Delver, a human wizard.
Right. Augur. I'm not sure what Augur is. What race?
It's a Merfolk
Is it a
wizard.
Merfolk? Okay. I knew that they were all wizards. I just didn't know what race he was.
The new ones, Merfolk is the new, not Merfolk. So there you go. Dan Jordan keeping his Strangleroot Geist home. Does not want to rumble. Josh Cho. drops Evolving Wild. And now Talran the Sky Summoner. Every instant he plays, worth a 2/2.
Evolving Wild's just sitting there, waiting to be sacked.
Can't copy Talran, as Talran is a legend, but can, but would not be
Could.
wise.
If Dan Jordan mind slivered him, I bet you it would happen. This is an
using
interesting
the Kessig Wolf
question.
Run to just wear down the Phantasmal Image. It's
This
always
is an
such a
interesting
fun game.
question, right? With lapsing trigger style things, if your opponent can point out to you triggers that you missed on their behalf. In theory, you have all these triggers that you get to have happen, and you could say, no, I don't want to do it. If your opponent in that moment, since it's their trigger, can or can't point it out. Probably they can. But... And the Silver Hearts.
Silver Heart.
That's a good one.
Silver Heart. So, this is probably going to make the Strangleroot Ice get real big, right?
Yeah.
The only argument for powering up the bird is that then he's big enough to block the all the drakes. But instead, he goes with the Strangleroot Geist and makes Josh taste it.
Do we have a block here? A little chump block?
Dude, why not block? You're gonna
There we go.
You're gonna lose your guy to Kessig Wolf Run anyway.
And Cho. I don't think he has much in the way of sorceries or instants right now. He does not look like a man with sorceries or instants.
Dude, I still remember when Josh Cho was just a young man with a hover mirror and a dream.
When I saw him in Nashville, it was after his top 8. I had not seen Josh in many years before that. It was really cool seeing him. See a Manaleek, a Delver, and something else that he has now hidden from view. That was a good piece of cake, by the way.
Phew. Hell yeah.
For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan.
No,
and
Patrick Chapin.
I just had a piece of Patrick Chapin's celebratory Hall of Fame cake that were brought to him by 2 awesome guys that are playing here at this tournament today. Okay, we have a play. Snapcaster, Vapor Snag, gets a Drake. And he has the Manaleek hanging back. Oh. Was that the 8th mana that he needed? It was indeed.
Plays around Manaleek.
Dan Jordan draws the land he would need to make the Manaleek in Josh Cho's hand not do enough work. Here he taps it, casts it, just to tap out Dan and get another Drake. If he can't stop a Wolfie or Silverheart with Manaleek, there's not much to be able to stop later, so might as well do it now.
So Dan Jordan with a Wolfie or Silverheart paired with a Strangleroot Geist, as well as he has a Bird of Paradise and 7 land, one of which is a Kessig Wolf Run, meaning that Josh Cho is on a very short clock here.
Dan Jordan tries to convince Josh to block with everything, but I don't think Josh will do that.
5 land, including a Cavern Wizard, with Talran, 2 Drakes, and a Snapcaster Mage. Now, Josh has Dan dead in just, without too much more work. As long as he's got a couple spells, he can produce enough flyers and enough tempo to win the race. This could go either way. A single Vapor Snag is game-winning. Man, I don't know about chumping here, though. But he decides to chump. He's confident enough that he's going to produce enough Drakes that he just wants the 6th life. Totally reasonable.
I might have chumped with Snapcaster. There appears to be some discussion about something.
I've seen people grab their land like that. I think Dan Jordan wants to time walk Cho.
Bonfire for 1.
Miracle Bonfire for 1.
Can't quite see what happened there. It's off of camera. Bonfire for 1, I think. And then Snapcaster on, there we go, on Ponder. Now we see why the Snapcaster is still alive. Josh had the Phantasmal image in his hand.
Play.
That was indeed a Bonfire for 1.
So I think Cho's ahead on board now, right? Like, he's going to win the race at this point. Because if he blocks both the Silverheart and the Geist, only one will be able to trample over. It'll only hit for 11. But if Cho can kill Dan between this turn and next turn combined, because now he can chump with the Snapcaster.
In for 2, Dan goes to 12.
Now if he chumps with the Snapcaster and the image of a Snapcaster, he's still short though.
One thing to remember too.
He needs a Vapor Snag.
Josh Cho cast Ponder and kept those cards on top.
Ooh, that sounds like a Vapor Snag to me. Cho playing through all the permutations.
Cho has really become a kind of a ponderous player in some ways. Just going through and thinking about a lot of different things in ways that in his we'll say youth. He's still a young guy. When he was younger, he didn't play quite as ponderously. And I'm not trying to say it negatively. I mean just
No. In fact, I think he's probing for the answers right now.
Well. That is a fair amount of drakes hanging out. The tapped drake near the graveyard is a drake that is alive. Don't be fooled by the graveyard there.
Cho's still going to need something else to win with, though. Like, he loses on board, but he kept with his Ponder, so he's got to have a Vapor Snag. Or something, just to, you know. Could be a Bonfire. That would win the race. What do you think about these blue-red decks instead of
Blue-white?
Blue-white, yeah. You get Bonfire instead of Restoration Angel.
I mean, I think that the question is Angel or Bonfire. Because Pillar of Flame is not big enough of a thing for me to say that's the reason.
Honestly, neither is Geist of St. Traft or Blade Spicer.
I
They're good, but
I think Geist has a lot more going for it, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, Geist can be a card that, if unanswered, wins the game all by itself very quickly. The problem, of course, is that answering it only requires, let's say, 2 creatures with 2 power. And I say 2 because you can probably get rid of one of them. Doing some math here, we can pump for 5.
so this is 12 points of trample damage over the Wolfear Silverheart. Dan Jordan shaking, so visibly excited.
Are you dead? I've gotcha. Dead.
Cho, on the other hand, a study in cool, calm, and collected.
in on...
Wolfir Silverheart.
Boom. +5/+5.
12 points of trample. Cho drops to 2. Jordan knows he's probably beat because Cho kept, you know? There's no hidden information to Cho. He knows how it's going to play out.
Look at
Power
all
of
those
Ponder.
drakes. That's 10 power. Where's the rest of it? Is there a pillar? Oh, Cho is actually just looking.
And it shows him the Snapcaster Mage.
There we go. Josh Cho wins game 1. To the sideboards.
Keeping it close. Keeping it grimy.
I expect we will see these 2 Gutshot in the sideboards join the other burn in the main deck.
Now, yeah, that game ended with the Snapcaster Mage flashing back to get the Pillar Flame, right? Like for the final 2?
It ended either... It was probably pillar.
Yeah,
it's probably pillar.
10 points of damage coming in. The direct damage, super good against... I mean, being able to hit the mana creatures is just so valuable for slowing Jordan down.
And if you're...
Also,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, just also the ability to... I mean, if every time you can kill one of Jordan's threats, you know, that's that much more time Cho has to try to win in the air.
I think what we're going to see is we're going to see Josh Cho bring in 2 Gutshots, 1 Phantasmal Image, and 2 Batter Skulls. That would be a rough base for what I think he would go with. Probably cutting, perhaps, this is a guess, Mutagenic Growth, and certainly cutting Mana Leak.
You like cutting Mana Leak here?
Yeah, Mana Leak has always been so bad for me against bird decks.
See, I actually like Mana Leak just because of the ability to counter Birthing Pod. I think it's just too important to hit somebody's Angel. Or I guess he doesn't have the Angel, so it's less important. But hitting all their mid-range creatures like Birthing Pod and Huntmaster, it makes me wonder if there's any chance that he's going to bring in a Smelt.
I was actually just thinking that with Pod, I think you have to bring in Smelt.
Now, he doesn't have Blade Splicer like most of them because he's not playing the white. It'd be a lot easier if you knew that you could at least backdoor it on the Metamorph or this. He does have the Metamorph, but...
I mean, with the blue, I would expect at least 1 Metamorph, but just there, even with 1 Metamorph and let's say 3 or 4 Birthing Pods, I would want to bring in the Smelt, just because the way that Delver works, even though Josh is not playing he's not playing the full 12 cantrips, he's only playing 4 Gitaxian Probe and 4 Ponder, you still end up finding those one-ofs very, very commonly in your Delver deck.
Yeah, I mean, you do have Augur of Bolas and Snapcaster Mage looking for it too. You can Augur up a Smelt, and you can Snapcaster your Ponder to look for more Augurs or whatever, you know, they all chain together. What do you think about Bonfire of the Damned out of Dan Jordan? Is he going to board it in? To hit all those Drakes?
Yeah.
And the possibility of...
I mean, normally I'm not a huge fan of Bonfire versus Delver. I think it's just fine, but I'm not, like, in love with it. But versus Talrand, there's going to be a lot of Drakes in some games, and you're going to be happy to have it.
So what do you think about Arc Trail? The poor man's Bonfire, but it's a little more reliable sometimes. I mean, you can
Arc Trail seems a little bit slow to me.
The fact that you can sometimes hit Delver and often Snapcaster on the one side, and then for the 2 you actually hit Talrand.
Yeah.
The 1 can also hit the Phantasmal Image.
Yeah.
It seems like you might get enough. Now, you don't want to dilute your deck too much, but...
I would be worried about the dilution element because you have only so many creatures that you can take out before your before your Birthing Pods and your Green Suns get weak. I think you can touch into that. I'm just not sure how far you can go.
What about Hellrider?
Hellrider actually seems super awesome.
Right, it's super good against Pillar of Flame, right? And it's good against Bonfire because it's both has haste and the fact that it's a little tougher to Bonfire away the hard way.
And versus Talrand, a lot of times the Talrand deck, what they do is they set up a turn where they have a block.
Absolutely.
And then they survive that turn, and then the next turn they set up for the kill, and then they kill you. It's often a 3-turn situation.
Yep. Hellrider can just take one turn off.
Doesn't care. Be like, hey, how about you're just dead? You've got all those blockers, but I don't care.
Yep.
And actually, I saw that happen not 2 weeks ago in the Star City Games event that I was working, where Hellrider versus Talrand, it did enough damage that the Talrand player, I can't remember who it was, it might have been Adam Prozac, might have been somebody else, they were forced to block with their Talrand, or else they would have to die, you know, and...
Wow, yeah. Both of these players, both experienced players, both no stranger to the top 8s of these SCG Opens, but also having some success at the Grand Prix and Pro Tour level.
Yeah.
Both experienced players who look like they have well thought out sideboards who are both good against each other. Like both of their sideboards, it's clear that Jordan was expecting to play against some Delver decks, and it's clear that Cho is expecting to play against some Pod decks. And both of these players have a little bit of a twist. Instead of the traditional Nyapod, we have Rug Pod.
Right.
Instead of Blue-White Delver, we have Blue-Red Delver.
Dan Jordan is going to look for a chance to play Rug whenever he can, too.
Absolutely, and Josh Cho is going to look for a chance to play the exact 75 Jerry plays whenever he can, too.
Is Jerry Thompson to Josh Cho what Sam Black is to John Finkel? Will Josh Cho just play whatever Jerry plays, like John has said he will play whatever Sam plays?
I mean, now, first of all, Josh has been playing Jerry decks for a little bit longer than John with Sam.
Right.
And that's also, I think, a little bit of a circumstance. Like, we'll see how long that continues. But I do think that, like, for instance, I think Kibler and John testing together for the Players' Championship are going to go a little bit different of a direction than the Sam Black direction.
Yeah.
And for the Josh Cho, in Barcelona, he played the same 75 as Brad Nelson instead of Jerry Thompson.
Oh, he went off the path.
Yeah, and
Well
Jerry actually put up a sign saying, "Do not follow me. This way lay madness." Jerry played a wildly speculative brew that was snap 05 right out the gate. But Jerry doesn't like to win at Pro Tours. He's very against it. He prefers winning the Grand Prix and the Opens, and the Invitationals, and basically every other tournament.
Llanowar Elf versus No Gutshot.
The quick turn
to pod.
No Steel Sabotage.
One of the hardest things for a deck like this to beat is a turn 2 pod.
Dude, Steel Sabotage that. Yes.
And a go. Oh, that's got to be painful.
Yeah. I like Dan Jordan's chances. What do you think the chances of him winning this match are? Like 80%?
Well, this game, 80%.
No, I'm talking like 107% to win the match.
Do you remember when we were doing work, playtesting for, I want to say Worlds, where Nassif started working with Pod and trying to make Pod work? This was like last year, towards the end of last year. And I know that we were doing some work with that stuff together, but like every time that a turn 2 Birthing Pod hit, it was just lights out for every version of blue that I saw. So
now, often the way these decks beat this is by going over the top of them, but Cho doesn't really have a ton in that department yet.
I mean, maybe
and
he
Smelt,
brought in...
I mean, if he has Smelt, that can do it real fast, obviously.
Maybe he brought in Tamayo. I mean, Tamayo, if he can protect it, can go there, but that's hard.
You say Tamayo, I say tomato.
Fair enough. Tamayo, one of my favorite planeswalkers in a long time. It's a shame it exists at the same moment that Restoration Angel was printed.
Dude, no. It's still good. Tamayo's for sure. Like 5 is the new 6. Tamayo is still a real thing.
Tamayo is still a real thing.
I love that it doesn't have the... It doesn't just overlap with Jace. Like, it and Jace have different functionality, you know?
Absolutely. I've actually... Oh, wow. And... Strangleroot into Exarch. Untaps the Birthing Pod.
Is this going to get Hellrider?
That would be amazing. Dan Jordan shuffles while he thinks, presents, searches again, just for the rubbins. I was hoping.
And it does. Phantasmal Image.
Image would be really good here. Image on Geist.
No, just gets the Stringer Geist. Yeah, why bother with the image? Why not just save it in the toolbox?
Yeah, you're right.
So Dan Jordan playing a much more aggressive pod deck. And he doesn't. Does he even play Elvish Visionary? He just has the 1 as a tutor target because he plays his so aggressive.
There's Talrand.
That's going to be a little slow, particularly if Hellrider comes down.
wizard on the cavern.
There's
Arc
that arc trail we
trail.
talked about.
2 and 1.
This is a mauling.
Are we gonna see Hell Rider? Hell Rider. Hell Rider.
Hell yeah.
Come on, Dan Jordan, have a Hell Rider.
Well, he has a Deceiver Exarch and a Birthing Pod. Like, at the very least, he has Hell Rider. I think you just got to figure out what are all the options. Is there anything better?
In for 5. 7, 6, 6. In for 6. After combat, churns the Exarch into a Huntmaster, maybe?
Seems a little unnecessarily risky.
And Josh is like, never you mind.
Oh, is he getting a Metamorph for his Birthing Pod?
Ouch. Metamorph would be good. Metamorph is so awesome.
Metamorph is a sweet card.
It's one of my favorite Phyrexian cards, Phyrexian mana cards.
That's like how Snap is one of my favorite free mechanic cards.
Well, I say Phyrexian Metamorph is one of my favorites because I actually don't really like that Dismember exists. It's a little
Blinkmoth
good.
Infusion might be my favorite of all of the affinity cards.
That's funny.
Blinkmoth Infusion is the only card I know of that had 12 mana added to its casting cost in development. I was at WotC during the development of Mirrodin, and at the time, Blinkmoth Infusion was just 1 in a blue. It was a instant 1 in a blue, untap all artifacts, and I built a pretty sick Isochron Scepter deck that just would go infinite. And we talked about it at different costs, and they're like, is this even really the type of thing we want to be promoting? And we were looking for one card to make super expensive to put affinity on anyway. And it was like, how about this? Let's just make this thing cost a ridiculous amount.
That's funny. I'm surprised I've never seen anything use it in some capacity for its expensive cost, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen an Erratic Explosion before.
That would be cool to see. That would be really cool to see. Does it cost 13?
It costs 14.
14?
12 UU. Does it cost 14? Maybe it costs 12. It might cost, it's either 10 or 12. I think it costs 12 though. I think it's 12 UU. Because I think it had 12 mana added to its cost.
For those of you who are just joining us, you missed 2 awesome games of Magic. Dan Jordan versus Josh Cho. It's a Rugpod versus Blue Red Delver. They're on to game 3. This is the Star City Games Live Open Series in Buffalo, New York.
Woo woo!
We are a stone's throw from Niagara Falls.
And as close as we are comfortable to coming to Canada.
You know, the last time we worked together, we were close to Canada.
Yeah, absolutely, dude, right on the edge. Although it looks like there's more Canadians at this tournament than the last one. Last one there were a few people coming over from Windsor. Here it looks like we got a pretty good chunk of the Toronto scene. I've been hearing over the past year and a half that Canadian Magic is making a comeback. That Canadian Magic is having a resurgence. I mean, you were around. You remember what it was like back in the days when
1999,
Canadian Magic used to be like, you know how nowadays people talk about how Japan or France.
Yeah.
France used to be. Now it's like it's pretty much just Japan is the second big country for Magic.
Yeah.
Canada used to be the second biggest country for Magic, or top 3. It always used to be the U.S., Canada, and France. And having Canada went through a long dry spell after, you know, like once we're long past the days of Gary Wise, Paul McCabe, Terry Boer, you know,
I put Matt Viano in there. Eric Tam.
Absolutely, Matt Viano, Eric Tam.
Was Pikachu from there? Jeff Fung? Or was
Jeff Fung, yeah, right over by Vancouver.
Right.
Absolutely.
There was a huge number of Canadian
Ryan
players.
Fuller.
Yeah. Fuller, I think, might have been, in many ways, like one of the people around whom Canadian Magic seemed to kind of either coalesce. It was like a magnet. Either you were drawn to him or you were pushed away by him as a Canadian Magic player, from what I remember.
He's definitely a very strong and controversial figure. Ryan Fuller and the the Alpha Beta Unlimited guys were over on the West Coast by Vancouver. You know, Jeff Cunningham.
Yep.
another Vancouver player.
Fung. Yeah,
and then
Cunningham at the
Fung,
times.
and then over. Whereas on the other side, we've got the people like Gary Wise and Eric Tam and
Gary Krakauer too.
Gary
Forgot about
Krakauer,
Gary
another
Krakauer.
great Canadian. So many great Canadian
What
players.
about 2 Canadians that went to work for Wizards? We already talked about Jerry Thompson's 05.
Oh, absolutely. Two
What
of my
about
favorites.
Jeff Donay
And Mike Donay.
Mike Donay, one of the best deck builders of all time.
Dude, Mike Donay and Jeff Donay, 2 legends of the game. Absolutely. Those are 2 guys that have also the contributions they've had. They both worked at WotC for a very long time.
Oh yeah.
And the amount of positive contributions to deck building, to tournament play, or the Friday Night Magic existing, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I know that when I was doing Cabal Rogue, we had Mike Donay get on, and it was just like a party happened in our house. We're like, woo-hoo! We got a Ponder, turn 1 from Josh Cho. This is I think he is drawing Ponders like some national champions draw Goblin Guides.
Josh, on the mold to 6, fortunately these Delver decks usually very, very resilient to the mulligans. They don't need very much mana to operate. They have a lot of selection to smooth things out.
Augur.
And already, he's now back even because of the extra card the Augur draws.
Now don't crane your neck to try to see those cards. It is a 2-dimensional screen. It won't help.
Josh, a very deliberate player, chooses
Vapor Snag.
It's fun too, the Vapor Snag. If worst comes to worst, you can Vapor Snag your Augur and keep it going. The amount of recursion in these decks.
No turn 2 pod. Josh Cho lets out an inner cheer, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Turn 3, 3rd land for Josh. Bonfire
Here
for
is
1.
a bonfire. You will burn.
The fairway. Kind of does an expensive arc trail there. 1 to you, 2 to your elf. Not literally,
So
folks.
what do you think about that new Arc Lightning?
Oh, it's very, very, very deadly.
Is it good?
I think it might be.
Is it better than Arc Trail?
I think it cannot live in the same world as Arc Trail.
Do you think that it's going to be good after Arc Trail rotates?
Yeah. Hinterland Harbor. I can never see enough Hinterland Harbors in Standard. That card's so awesome. Here we go. Deceiver Exarch facing off against a Augur. This is a lot of toughness and not much power on the table.
Adrian, look at his butt.
Oh my god.
Snapcaster Mage, flashing back to Ponder.
Is it good? Is it good? It is? Okay. What do we got?
How much do you think the landscape's going to change once Ponder rotates out in Gitaxian Probe? Once they rotate out in Vapor Snag?
It's going to change things radically. Just the existence of them as, I'll say, smoothers, the library manipulation of Ponder, and just the thinning of the Gitaxian Probe, it's going to change the landscape in a huge way.
Drawing cards from your Snapcaster Mage is a lot different of a proposition when you have to draw them off a Thought Scour.
Yeah. And I'm going to say that I expect Divination to make a comeback.
Divination's hot.
Divination's a good card.
What do you like more, Divination or Amass the Components?
Different cards.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
1 second. And we have Talrand with
himself.
a Vapor Snag mana open. That is a wizardly cavern that helps cast that Talrand.
Yeah.
No counter spells for Dan Jordan.
I got a feeling all these Delver decks are just going to name Wizard all day. The ability to cast your Talrand and your Augur at the same time as your Snapcaster and your Delver.
I know that with the blue-white ones, we sometimes see other
So Angel.
things. Yeah, but
Or
like
Spirit.
with pretty much the rest of them, they're all wizards. Oh my god. Wow.
It's a big game.
Well, I guess a Vapor Snag's probably going to happen.
Cho isn't one to just go, to react without thinking about it. He's got to figure what are the chances I'm going to actually want to Vapor Snag and Mana Leak this Inferno Titan. If I Vapor Snag my Talrand, am I just going to lose him next turn?
He's got a Ponder in hand as well.
I wouldn't be surprised if the right play is to just wait. But he's calculating what are the chances. He has a Ponder, so what are the chances he'll find a Mana Leak? What are the chances?
He gets a Drake, and he
All right.
saves his Talrand. Jordan passes back. I have seen more Inferno Titans on Dan Jordan's side of the table than I think anyone in Star City Games Opens.
Dan Jordan is definitely an Inferno Titan type of dude.
A sneak preview, just so you know, we've got a sideboard filming right now on the Elf list. So thank you people on Twitter at SCG Live. Use hashtag SCGNY. Let us know what you want to see. We're going to try to make sure you get it. We do have right now a sideboard being filmed on the Elf deck. Back to this match in progress. Josh Cho attacks with his Drake.
He's going to need an answer to that Inferno Titan real quick, like. Are we going to see Snapcaster for Ponder? Does he, wait, actually, does he have another Ponder?
He has a Ponder in his hand.
But he's got to decide, does he actually play the Talrand just to get some value? Inferno Titan is a real hard one to race. He puts down the Talrand and he ponders.
Wow. Getting a Drake. Maybe looking for a land here, just to aggressively cast another Vapor, or cast the Vapor Snag, if he has another one.
I gotta imagine he's trying to set up like a flash. Does he have flash freeze in his board? Yeah, like either flash freeze or mana leak. He doesn't have flash freeze, so he needs to find a mana leak.
Gut shots.
Yep. Or Tamio would also be real good if he boarded it in, but I would guess that the primary plan now is to find mana leak and set up the combo of Snapcaster my Vapor Snag, bounce your Titan, and counter it.
And he shuffles. So, does it feel good to shuffle, or does it feel better to leave him on top?
I mean, just pondering it all feels good.
This is true.
Feels good to leave him on top, feels good to shuffle. The whole business just feels real good. The only thing that doesn't feel good is when you ponder and realize that you wasted mana, and now you're going to not cast your divination this turn. You're going to just waste 2 mana.
Back to Amass and Divination. I think Divination is a better card as a general card drawer, and Amass is better if you've got things to do early. Like, as a card that you cast, if you've got a lot of stuff lower on your curve, I think Amass is, the power of it's fine. But that 4 mana is really a true thing to think about. Oh, geez, Arc Trail. 2 and, oh boy. Wow.
It's a big game. So, Dan Jordan quickly taking over this game with Inferno Titan. We saw how quick Birthing Pod can run away with it. Now we're seeing the Inferno Titan do the same.
Wow. Very aggressive. Chooses not to kill a Drake and instead does extra damage to Josh's face.
No, he does 2 to the Drake, 1 to...
Well, the Arc Trail, right, was 2 to Talrand and 1 to I don't know what.
It would have either been to Josh's face or to... yeah, it seems weird. Like, if he would have done 1 to the Drake, he would have done 1 to the Drake.
Yeah, he could have gotten 3 creatures killed.
But...
I think he's going to the dome here. I think he's like actually
just
going...
2 and 1 and then 2 and 1?
Yeah, I think he's trying to make this game be over very quickly. Before anything can happen.
Well, it's tough because Josh could just keep the Drake home as a blocker if that were the case. But I don't know. We'll see. Josh is going to need an answer to this Titan real soon.
I see a Snapcaster Pillar. I'm not sure about those pillars.
If he goes Pillar, Snapcaster, Pillar, I mean that's it.
He's not quite enough red.
Does he only have 2 red?
Only 2 real red sources.
Wow. All right. Do you know Drake jumping in front of oh no, both the Augur and the Drake are attacking.
Wow. This is some aggression.
Does this mean we're finally going to see Snapcaster Vapor Snag the Inferno Titan?
It's a possibility. And Dan. Looks Looks like he's kind of thinking over what his. He's just taking it and then back to Josh. Is that what happened? Yeah, takes it back to Josh. I think we're gonna see a during combat before the Inferno Titan is declared. I think we're
Classic
gonna see
inside the attack step before attackers are declared.
right. Words you have to use now.
Kessig will run.
That was a very powerful pull for Dan Jordan. And Dan is 1 mana short of being able to cast the Inferno Titan through a mana leak. I don't believe Josh has it, but he probably has to be thinking about it.
Yeah, the alternative line is, of course, he has Kessig Wolf run.
Yeah.
He can just be Kessig Wolf running, because like he beats the board that way. If he just goes Kessig Wolf run my Deceiver, Kessig Wolf run again. Assuming that Josh won't be able to keep attacking because of the threat of that.
Looks like Josh's hand is Bonfire, Island, Bonfire? I'm not sure of that though.
Jordan needs to go for it. He needs to play that Inferno Titan, because if he just dinks around, I mean, that's how he loses this game. If he gets scared now.
He's thinking about it. He's inside the combat step right now.
Cho selling the display of confidence. Oh, that's how you know Cho doesn't have the leak. You see how much he looked at the top card as though it was mana leak, like telling you I have mana leak? He does.
Weak
no
is
way.
strong, strong is weak.
In this case, it was too like he's. I don't know. We'll see. It looks like.
I see the pump. It looks like. Oh, maybe not.
Arc
Wow.
Trail first, just in case he has the mana leak. Smart play.
Josh does have a Snapcaster. And now we see Green Suns.
Interesting.
For
Green
6.
Sun for 5.
Oh, for 5?
Yep,
Yeah,
for 5. But that's a Thrag Tusk waiting to happen.
That's going to happen.
And that's an impossible race. If Cho has mana leak, he has to do it. But it's actually super sick because Jordan's Inferno Titan next turn is still good.
Yeah.
Good play by Dan Jordan.
He says yes.
And this is going to be impossible for Cho to race. Yeah, I think this is it. Although, this does open up the interesting line of Cho can now Phantasmal Image the Thrag Tusk.
The best thing I've seen happen with Thrag Tusks for non-green players is copying.
Yeah, Thrag Tusk is...
Actually, that's not correct. I did see active aggression used to good effect against Thrag Tusk. We see that Snapcaster looking at a Ponder.
So Dan Jordan, with a Thrag Tusk, Bird of Paradise, Deceiver Exarch, 7 land, including a Kessig Wolf run. Facing down Josh Cho, Snapcaster Mage, and Augur of Bolas with 5 mana. Both players have a few cards. Cho running out of life and options. It's definitely
Looks
a very
like
tough spot.
Land, Vapor Snag being shuffled away.
One of the powerful elements of Thrag Tusk is its ability to remove counterplay. Oh, you were racing me? Now I have too much life for you to race. Oh, you were going to kill whatever I play? Well, now if you kill this, it replaces itself.
Does Thrag Tusk only cost 1 green?
Single green.
Oh, that's so crazy.
That's why I told you, blue-black control. Why don't you win with Thrag Tusk? Blue-red control, too. Splash Thrag Tusk. Thrag Tusk is that dude is the real deal.
Image Thrag. Oh, that was what he needed to do, but now Inferno Titan's gonna come down.
Yep.
It's gonna be Inferno Titan, probably kill Snapcaster, kill fake Thrag Tusk, Domi for 1.
Probably. if I were him, after this, I think I would just swing with the Thragtusk. Let him trade his 3/3 for your 5/3. You'll get a 3/3 to replace it, and he won't be able to copy a Thragtusk anymore, so you don't have to worry about this next turn. Now, obviously, he can copy the Inferno Titan, but copying Inferno Titan is a very short-term proposition anyway. There's the Inferno Titan. I'm predicting the straight-up Arc Lightning. 1 to the image, 1 to the Snapcaster, 1 to the face, as you predicted.
Very deadly. And it's a not a tips and tricks card. What is that?
He's willing to offer up the Thragtusk in a trade so that Cho can't copy it. Cho accepts the trade.
He hands him his token. You could use this, I think. And that might be the hand? No. Augur.
So are we looking for a dismember here? Is that what's happening? Because he's got the pillar already.
That is time in round number 3. Active player finish your turn and proceed with 5 extra turns. Time in round 3. If you have a time extension on your match, please call it up. If you have finished your match, please bring
Josh
your
Cho
contenders
continuing to
to
dig.
the stage.
Now he's pondering. And part of me ponders if possibly, is this game a wrap very shortly?
Morgan McLaughlin and Kevin Lawson, please report to the main stage.
Looking back through his grave again.
Cho is not going down without a fight, that's for sure.
He's getting really close to Bonfire Pillar to kill the Inferno Titan.
Next turn?
Yeah.
Well, he could, I mean...
And that's not ideal, but...
Inferno Titan deals 1 to the Snapcaster, 2 to Cho's face. He attacks. If he blocks the Beast and the Inferno Titan's trampling over.
Starting to look pretty ill for Josh Cho.
Can he live through the turn? 4, 5, 11, 8,
Is this an
10.
Exarch?
He can live through the turn. He can knock Cho to 1.
Oh boy, a pod.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours.
Goodbye, Exarch. Hello, Huntmaster. Hello,
Hellrider.
Hellrider.
Oh,
Phyrexian Metamorph.
Sure.
Way better than, yeah.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah, let's take that one out. Let's take that one out. The trample that can be done here is only for 1. Wait, plus 1, I should say. Not only 1, but plus 1.
Yep, so he's taking 9, going to 1.
Whoa. Now a Miracle Bonfire does not save him.
He has to block, or he will die.
Yeah.
But he's only going to prevent 1 damage. So a Miracle Bonfire for
Does not get there.
4, and then he just happens to already have 2 pillars and a land in his hand.
Yeah.
$10 draft number 3. Please come to the stage.
Does Zealous Conscript help somehow? Can he win the game?
Conscripts
8, 9,
on
10. That's only
Inferno
10.
Titan is just shy.
No, wait, that's exactly enough. If he has Zealous Conscript, he steals the Titan, fire breathes it, that's 7, 3 from the Titan's damage is 10.
He's got a
3 from
pillar
the
in his
Conscript.
hand.
That's it?
And plus any...
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
No. If
I
he
see
would have found a Conscript.
No conscripts to
He
be
doesn't play
found in his
conscripts.
list.
Okay.
That's a shame. Actually, one of the things I like about red is conscripts.
I mean, it is one of the most powerful red cards, for sure. It adds such a powerful, different dimension. It's not just its raw power, it's the fact that it does unique things. Like, Mana Leak does stuff that other colors don't get to do, conscript does stuff that other colors don't get to do.
This is absolutely true. No, like, conscripts would be one of the reasons that I would be playing blue-red Delver.